What do you think when you hear the word sweaty when it comes to a Call of Duty map? Is it fast-paced? Is it because there's different choke points involved? There's a lot of sweaty maps throughout Call of Duty history, and today we cover the best. Well, the sweatiest. They're not necessarily the best. Some of them are, some of them aren't. Welcome to the channel, everybody. Jimmy or Chaos. Today, it's the 20 sweatiest maps in Call of Duty history. We're not going to do face-off, playlist, or gunfight. We're going to focus on 6v6, or over half of the list would be just those. So yeah, you guys let me know what you think the sweatiest is, what you sweated the most on, and light goal for today is 722. And proof once again that I am not AI. If you guys enjoy, let's jump into it. Welcome to the channel, Jimmy or Chaos, and let's sweat together. Kicking things off at number 20 is Raid. Introduced in Black Ops 2, coming back in Black Ops 7. It's one of the most iconic maps in the franchise, as well as one of the most balanced for game modes like Domination and Hardpoint. Very straightforward, very intense, isn't too crazy. Allows you to run around in a rich guy's mansion in Hollywood Hills, smash up its fancy cars in the process if you deem that it needs done. Some people hung out in the middle of the map with SMGs and shotguns. Others stuck to the outskirts with the sniper rifles and the AR, but no matter what your playstyle, Raid was going to be an absolutely insane time. You had the tree in the courtyard, you had the basketball court. Great way to start things off today. Before we move on, guys, for the rest of August, G2A is doing a 20% off promo. G2A promo 20. That's the code. Link is in the description. You can go check out all the old but gold, the cheap as dirt sections, get all kinds of deals. Click the link in the description to take advantage. At number 19, Summit. One of the best snow maps in COD history, if not the best snow map in COD history. It was introduced in the original Black Ops, and it has since been remade, I don't know how many times. We probably haven't seen the last of it either. In terms of the surface area, it's one of the biggest maps on this list, which is kind of crazy to think about. Because since each of these lanes was so tight and compact, matches got crazy. Once you got to control the room or control the control room in the middle of the map, you were going to have to keep your head on a swivel. If you didn't, you weren't going to be able to survive because you'd be taken out by somebody camping the second story window. But even if you were one of the campers in the second story window, you were constantly getting flanked by both sides, so you could never get comfortable. That was what made it exciting. That was what made it balanced. I mean, it was one of the best maps in the original Black Ops. It's one of the few maps from COD history that I really don't get tired of. At number 18, Flak Tower. Who remembers this map from COD World War II? It was the smallest map in the game when it launched, and even though a lot of people were upset about the quality of 6v6 maps in this game at launch, I get it. Flak Tower, it could give you some fun matches. Very straightforward, very simple, but sometimes that's all you need. Both teams had a spawn point. There were two buildings. There was a center courtyard, and you basically just kept running at each other in one of three directions. You tried to survive as long as you could. So as far as small COD maps go, Flak Tower really wasn't that bad. But since it was the smallest map in the game for a long time, it was super, super sweaty. At number 17, High Rise. Introduced in the classic Modern Warfare 2, raise your hand if you graced that map, if you were there back then. Takes place on the very top of a massive skyscraper. It's well known for having some insane flanking routes and sniper duels from one end of the map to the other. And because of the super fast pace and the constant action, High Rise could get sweaty quick. And since there was no overhead cover, I mean, aside from the two spawn buildings, that meant you could easily get 10 to 15 kills with a chopper gunner, AC-130, lock in your nuke. It's one of the most iconic maps in COD history, and the jump spots and the secret areas, come on. And it's been a total sweat fest, honestly, every time it's shown up in Call of Duty. Since we're on the topic of classic MW2 sweaty maps, at number 16, Terminal. I've called this map one of the best in COD history several times. I stick with it. But it's also one of the sweatiest because of how well the choke points were established here and how versatile the playstyles could actually be. Terminal got insane fast. Whether you were an SMG rusher, shotgun camper, quick scoping monster, you could shine on Terminal, and people took full advantage of that fact. During the classic Modern Warfare 2 era, people were constantly going for nukes here. I'm pretty sure White Boy has the fastest nuke in COD history, something I think was on this, or was it Shaggy? I don't remember. During the classic Modern Warfare 3 era, this was one of the best maps for dropping MOABs. During the Infinite Warfare era, it was one of the go-to places for the de-atomizer strike. Super versatile, super fun, super sweaty. At number 15, the sweat drips off this one. Strike Zone. By far and away the most popular map in Ghost, mainly because it was the smallest map in Ghost, but even if it hadn't been the smallest, it was really well designed. Fast-paced matches, intense chem strike attempts. It took place on a busted-up abandoned baseball stadium, which is honestly an awesome setting for a COD map. And the layout, was very similar to classic Modern Warfare 3's Dome, to the point some people thought it was a proper remake or reimagining of it. The lanes were direct, the pace was high, you could easily drop 40 to 50 kills in Dome, and on top of that, this was a go-to place for 1v1 in the game. This was COD Ghost's Rust. Had to be somewhere on the list, even if it's never gotten a proper remake for whatever reason. At number 14, Firing Range. One of my favorite maps in COD history. It debuted in the original Black Ops. Many people actually preferred it over the other smaller maps in the game because of its unique layout and the theming. You were fighting around a military training facility filled with mock buildings, targets, some of which could occasionally move and make things a little more dynamic. Great verticality. If you managed to get up to the top of the sniper tower in one piece, you could easily camp there the rest of the match, assuming you spawned with attack inserts. This was a fan favorite map for a reason. This was a great place to slay out. Chopper gunners were nuts here, and the Dom matches got super sweaty. At number 13, Hard Hat. Now, the community's opinion of this map seems to be mixed now, because the remakes haven't been that good, but the original in the classic Modern Warfare 3 days was amazing. Hard Hat was universally seen as one of the best and most intense maps in the game. You were fighting at a construction site in the middle of New York and using various incomplete walls and tunnels as cover and flanking routes. Middle lane got nuts. The long tunnel connecting the middle lane to the outside construction site got nuts. It was often a choke point for insane sniper clips, C4 multi-kills, all that good stuff. How many times you get killed by somebody camping in the corner choke point with a striker and FMG9? Raise your hand. It's one of the best maps in Modern Warfare 3. It is. And I mean, I know the 2019 remake was iffy, but it needs to be on the list today. People locked it in when they saw this map in the pre-game lobby. At number 12, Rust, the ultimate 1v1 map in COD history. It's one of the smallest 6v6 maps in the entire franchise, and it's the one that absolutely everybody was sweating on when they loaded in. I mean, would you sweat by running the UMP? Would you sweat by trying to run around in quickscope? Would you sweat by camping the center structure with an LMG? Would you sweat by sitting in one of the four corners and spawn trapping? Because the small size and the bright lighting, it was easy to sweat your freaking nuts off here, and that's exactly what everyone did. It's a piece of COD history for a reason, and it's deserving of this list. Heck, some of you probably thought it was going to be higher, but honestly, there's a lot of super sweaty maps in COD. At number 11, Dome, the 2008 version. It was the smallest map in World at War, and it was a huge hit with the community because of how many kills you could get in such a short amount of time, especially in the war game mode where everyone was constantly running to the same 3 points on the map. World at War was a relatively slow-paced game compared to other CODs, so Dome stuck out like a sore thumb for the pace, the firefights, especially when the map was full of MP40 spammers. But if you were an absolute Chad, which some of you were back then, you would load into this map with an iron sight sniper and you would show everybody who was boss. Now granted, this version of Dome isn't nearly as popular as a different Dome. At number 10, Dome, the 2011 version. Introduced in classic Modern Warfare 3. It's one of the most remade maps in COD history, and I think it has one of the best layouts ever for a fast-paced arcade shooter map. Small, based around 3 lanes, but at the same time, it's not so small you couldn't get your head on straight after you respawned. There were sections around the map for every kind of player. I mean, you had the more well-rounded, you had the quicker reacting players, you could run laps around the whole thing, keep everybody on their toes. And who can forget all the crazy MSR 1v1s here? There's a reason this map keeps coming back. At number 9, Payback. It was one of the launch maps in Black Ops 6, and even though a lot of people tend to think the maps in this game suck, Payback was one that people seem to have enjoyed for the most of the life cycle. This map is set in a safe house, so you and your team would be running laps around the inside and the outside of the building while you kept your head on a swivel so you didn't get messed up by flankers or shotgunners sitting in the corners. There's also some interesting areas for cool omni-movement plays, like the second story windows you could dive out of for an action movie clip. Black Ops 6 had a lot of bad maps. Payback, pretty fun and sweaty. At number 8, Kill House. This was one of the only DLC maps released for the original Modern Warfare, and I'm willing to bet hardly any of you actually got to play on it, at least the COD 4 version. Set inside a big military training warehouse. Kind of like an early version of Firing Range. There's no way to avoid combat for more than a few seconds here. Now, if you had the steel, you could jump up on top of one of the structures and start opening fire on everyone down below, but if you did that, you were more than likely going to end up getting lit up from 10 different directions. But then again, you kept your head down and ignored the people with that. You could flank around the outskirts, get into enemy territory, clean them up all with a single magazine. Kill House was remade in some of the more recent games, but for me, nothing tops the COD 4 classic, even if hardly anyone that watches this got to play it. At number 7, Babylon. This is one of the first maps in Black Ops 6 that we saw. It's one that we all knew was going to be complete insanity, and we were right. It's a square-shaped map where everyone is constantly running into the center to try and kill each other as quickly and effectively as possible, and even though it's total nonsense and most of the community hates playing on it, we all know it's one of the sweatiest maps in COD history. Yes, it's totally unbalanced. Sure, spawns are totally exploitable, but that doesn't stop anybody from sweating on it. If you want to see Black Ops 6 players running at maximum effort without going into a face-off playlist, Babylon is the place to go. Not really sure why you'd want to see that, but if you do. At number 6, Hijacked. Set on a massive yacht in the middle of international waters. One of the craziest maps in Black Ops 2, and it was also the main 1v1 map until Nuketown was added as free DLC for everyone. All about fast reaction times here. Close range combat. Map is almost perfectly symmetrical, meaning you never have an advantage on one side or the other, but it also meant that both sides had great advantages for positioning. Second story windows could make the center of the map a nightmare for everyone else, but the interior of each main structure could be a shotgunner's best friend. Basically, Hijacked was a thinner, longer version of Nuketown set on a boat. It was awesome. It was iconic, and it was sweaty. Now we arrive at the top 5. Stash House. This is one of Sledgehammer's original maps from Modern Warfare 3 2023, and it's definitely one of the most recognizable, especially since it got a couple variants and even its own 24/7 playlist. Stash House had you fighting around someone's house, of course, in Courtyard in California. It had the vibe from Raid, but much smaller, much more hectic. The interior of the house was complete madness. The exterior was full of constant flanking and nuke grinders, and during the reign of the Reclaimer 18s, Stash House was absolutely jam-packed with shotgun spam, but now that those things have been nerfed, it has a little bit more variety, which is nice. But it's one of the go-to places in Modern Warfare 3 for high kill games, and as far as the original Sledgehammer maps go, I think it's their most famous. At number 4, Das Haus. The Vanguard map that became a classic, mainly thanks to the remakes that have come in the new Modern Warfare games. Das Haus is a straightforward, no funny business, 3-lane map, no verticality, no secret routes, nowhere to hide. If you weren't comfortable rushing around everywhere and blasting people at a second's notice with a shotgun or SMG, you were gonna have a bad time here. And if you decided you were gonna play it safe in camp, it wasn't gonna end well either. Quickly gained a positive reputation in the Vanguard community for being super fast-paced and high kill and remake in Modern Warfare 3. Well, it's one of the most popular maps in the entire game because of how hard you could slay out. Now, maybe a little early to tell, but I have a feeling that Das Haus is going to end up being considered one of the best Warzone-era COD maps of all time. At number 3, Shoot House. They're all houses. You knew it was going to be here, you just don't know where I was going to rank it. Added to Modern Warfare the reboot a month or so after the release of the game, saving grace of multiplayer for a lot of people. It felt super old school, like something out of classic Modern Warfare 2 or Black Ops. Featured a very fast-paced gameplay, tight choke points, but it was just big enough to do different playstyles and make them viable. You didn't have to use an SMG or a shotgun while you slid around every corner, but you could if you wanted. You didn't have to camp in the middle lane for long shots, but you could if you wanted. And all those long shot campers actually added a bit of interesting dynamic to traversing the map. Shoot House has been part of all 3 Modern Warfare reboot games, and it's going to keep getting remade as the years go by. Definitely one of the most popular maps of the Warzone era, and it's absolutely one of the most sweatiest in the franchise. At number 2, Nuketown, another map you all knew was going to be up here. Introduced in the original Black Ops, has been brought back in every single Black Ops game to date, and it's even made some guest appearances outside of the Black Ops sub-series. This map famously takes place in a nuclear testing facility, fighting in a fake neighborhood with fake houses and fake dummies, and it's unique. You rush the other team's house, try to keep control of your own, playing the objectives, don't play the objectives, find yourself frequently running out in the middle of the street, getting shot from all angles, desperately trying to hold flags, playing bombs. It's sweaty. It isn't everyone's cup of tea, and there's a lot of people in the community who are getting understandably tired of it since it's been remade 47 times. But this is a video about sweaty maps. And Nuketown is sweaty. But at number 1 today, there was never even a doubt. Shipment. There's been a million different versions of Shipment throughout the years. Tell me how many there's been in the comments, and every single one of them is a total sweat fest. One of the smallest 6v6 maps in COD history. It gets absolutely insane once people started getting kill streaks, and certain versions of it have been much more exploitable than others. Camping spots and everything. But if you want a sweaty COD map, Shipment has you covered every time. No matter what game you're playing or what version of Shipment you're running, it's total chaos from start to finish. Absolutely deserving to be number 1. Let me know 2 sweaty maps that didn't make the list. See you guys soon.